Hey everyone, Dr. Jim Hoven here. I am a part of the team at FitMD working with patients, working with our other team, business development side, and I am here with the one and only Danielle Montoya, who's our clinic director, medical weight loss specialist. She helps every part of our business do what it does in our clinic to make sure we're taking great care of patients. Today, we want to spend some time talking about GLP-1s. They are all the rage. People know them as GLP-1s, GIPs, and then they have a host of names that we can go through. But it's a really important topic, we feel like, for us to get some information out there, just basics. This is not to go deep into the science and delve into the great mysteries of the molecules, but rather just to give you a high-level overview of what these things do in a person's body, how they work, and that kind of thing. So, Danielle, why don't you talk a little bit about how you explain to patients when they come in asking, because we get so many people that you and the team talk to every day about these GLP-1s. Describe what they are, some of the names of them, and then what you share with them on a easy to understand level.
The first thing is understanding the names. So you hear about Ozempic and you hear about Mounjaro, you hear about Wegovy and Zepbound. So it's really pretty simple. Ozempic, which was the diabetic medication that came out, was rebranded or kind of repatented as a weight loss medication called Wegovy. And then there's a compounded version, which is what most places carry, which is semaglutide. Same thing on the GLP-1/GIP would be Mounjaro, and then the weight loss version of that is Zepbound, and then the compounded version of that is tirzepatide. So it's important because sometimes people will say, oh, I'm on Ozempic, or I'm on Zepbound, or I'm on Wetbound, or all the different medications, they're all very different. They're very similar, but are different. The way I describe a GLP-1 or a GIP is as a weekly injection that once you put it into your body, it's going to work in 3 areas of your body. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to create a sense of satiety in your brain. So that satiety is sort of satisfaction. So when you kind of look at that plate of nachos or you look at the burger and you're like, yeah, I'm kind of satisfied. I don't really need that. So it's just sort of a sense of fullness, or early fullness, they call it. So satisfaction is what I say. The second area is how the food travels through your body. So it slows down your gastric emptying. And so as it's slowing down, the food is going to stay longer. It's going to keep you fuller, again, sending signals to your brain saying, hey, I'm full. Okay, or I'm satisfied. But the biggest place that it works is, I say, it's kind of removing sugars from your metabolism. But the kind of science behind it is what your pancreas is doing is it's lowering those insulin levels. So if you don't have sugar there, your body will concentrate on burning the fat in your body instead of just sugars, because the sugars are being dropped because of the GLP-1.
That is really good. And the reason I wanted Danielle to explain that to you is because she is working with patients every day. And I thought having her share that is going to help you connect with it on a very easy way. Now, again, she gave you a lot of the names, and there's one name that didn't get brought up, which is floating around there, and that's retatrutide. And retatrutide, we in our clinic have not done it intentionally because it's right now considered as an experimental investigational medication, like many of these are, but because it's not past certain clinical trials to be used for human consumption, it is technically only seen as investigational and experimental, and it's not designed for human use at this time. Does that mean people aren't using it? No, people are using it in droves. We get calls on it every single day. Again, the position that we're taking on this medication in particular is that until it has been shown safe enough, especially with the long-term use, which is, and that's a weird deal in itself, but until they can hit that first level of really deep clinical understanding of it, we just feel like there's too many unknowns to make it fruitful for us or beneficial for us to do it. Because here's the thing we know, that there was an initial, what we call a GLP-1, and what was it, loritrutide, and it was working on one pathway. Then all of a sudden, now you get into more of these other pathways. Semaglutide was the second iteration of that, and it's working on one path through this process. Then you get to tirzepatide. Now it's working on 2 different pathways to do the same thing, if that makes sense. Like the body has all kinds of redundancies built in. The body always wants to regulate itself for survival. And so it has things to make you hungry, to make you feel not hungry. And all these pathways move different, right? How to sleep, how to be awake, all these redundancies. Well, when you work on a tirzepatide, you're working on 2 pathways versus 1 with semaglutide. With retatrutide, there's 3 pathways. Now, again, who knows the long-term safety of that medication? We don't even know the short-term usage and effectiveness quite yet, even though it's showing incredible promise, but we still need to learn more. So we're not using that. That's a little bit about the multi-pathway
Also why it's very important to make sure you're seeing a healthcare provider when you're using these medications.
What a great point. Because if you're ordering them online, you're not getting good blood work follow-up. You're not having good medical consults regularly to see how things are going. You're not monitoring your muscle mass. That's one of the big things about that we should know, say about these medications, right? If you're not careful, we've seen people come to us and we use a thing called an InBody where we're measuring how much body mass people have, whether it's in fat, whether it's in muscle, how much fluid, over 20 biomarkers that we check. We want to make sure that if you're on a medication, you're not losing muscle mass, getting sarcopenic is the word.
Yep.
Because if you are, you're setting yourself for as much or more damage as if you're overweight. Like these things both come with consequences, right?
Well, and losing your muscle mass is so important because muscle is what drives your metabolism.
Great
so we
point.
want to make sure that the metabolism stays high. And if we lose muscle mass, our metabolism will actually drop.
Yes. And interestingly enough, we've done some of these videos before, but one of the most indicative pieces, if you can look at anything on what determines long-term health, and so we would call it health span and lifespan, two things. One is your VO2 max, which is a cardio function, and how much muscle you have. So one of the big things in our clinic is focusing on, if you're on a GLP-1 or any other weight loss program for that matter, making sure that we're helping you hold muscle. And that could be done through guidance and coaching and counseling.
Well, it needs to be monitored. That's the biggest thing is people are ordering these medications, they're doing them online, they're not having a provider office or something that's monitoring those numbers. And all of a sudden they're coming to us at the end saying, wait a minute, I lost all my muscle, I lost my hair, I lost this, I lost that. But they did it kind of on their own without any medical supervision.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And so we want to make sure that we're getting a message out there of, you know, we are big fans of these compounds, these molecules.
Yeah, they're great.
But they need to be done correctly. They have changed a lot of people's lives. And we were just talking this morning about a meeting about set point, right? And what's going on with how the body moves and how it holds weight at a certain point. The answer to that is making sure that you not only do you take the medication or whatever program you're on, but then you have a follow-up system. You have a team.
Correct.
You have a process to make sure that those changes that they last. So anyway, you may have some questions about this. It's a huge topic. It's a huge trend right now. And thank God it's super helpful, but it needs to be done the right way. If you do have questions, please reach out to us. FitMDUSA.com is the website. You can reach out to Danielle or I. She's Danielle at FitMDUSA.com, and I'm Dr. Jim at FitMDUSA.com. So hopefully this was helpful. We look forward to seeing you guys, helping you in any way that we can, communicating with you, and helping you to live optimized.
Absolutely.